In the previous chapter, Kong says that it is difficult to deal with a group of goblins, commanded by a monster from that time. While the soldiers and skeletons take care of the goblins, he will eliminate their leader. So Kong goes after him. So Kong starts laughing because he waited until the moment this monster had used all his remaining abilities, and after he landed a blow on him, he eliminates shortly after. Kong was eliminating the monsters while Sung was picking up the stone. Sung, so do you think that a person like that is F rank? Where at least he should be A rank, since your skills combat are enough to hunt level 2 monster on your own. After they left Dange, Kong if meets with Jaren and he sees a notice deposit on Kong. So Jaren's cell phone say this is a lot of money. Then Kong looks at the warehouse and he says that idiot sent the wrong amount. After Kong meeting with Sung, Sung begins to say that he will pay all the money. Kong seeing that people are looking at them, he sends Sung, if you sit down you won't die. Sug, so he says he's sorry he can't pay such a high value now, but if he give him time he might be able to find one. Kongwei, so you think you really there was a misunderstanding, but he still decides to take advantage of the situation. Then Kong asks how long Sung needs. Guys, this is the continuation of the video previous. If you haven't seen the other videos, I would leave a playlist pinned below. Now let's continue where we stopped the next day. LOL. Walking through the park, so she wears Sung starts calling him a lot. Excited after Kong got into the car, he asks why Sung is wearing bomb in his first day as subordinate. Then Sung says that a subordinate has his benefits returning the day before. Sung, I had told K that since he didn't, I had money to pay the debt. Now he will have to form a group with him, so you can pay with what you earn. Kong says that in the end you will be very comfortable watching while he does everything. Sung quickly denies, saying he will serve as if was his manager for a certain period of time. Then he asks what it would be. This Sung says he will take care of everything, from the selection and reserve of the Dan to the sell the bloodstones. Then he says that if Kong wishes he will even your Uber. Then he says that in short, he'll be like someone from the division support from the guilds. Kong says that then he will be his subordinate, where Sung is saying he will pay with his body now that he has no money. Sung thinks that he is not wrong, but because he is feeling like an idiot with no choice, he say that's it anyway. Kong says that the duration will be 1 year, but he doesn't feel bad about not having no reward, so he says we'll pay Sung a Sung salary. Thanks a lot. Kong thinks he would return the money to Sung, but instead he ended up getting a subordinate. Kong then tells Sung, do your tasks right and be a good guide. Like this he will give 10% of the winnings for him. Then Kangi asks if he found the Dangel he had talked about previously. ZNG says that the gel of rank 3 has the most monsters invoked he mentioned was in exit from the 3rd Monbong station and to the Interjo. Kong says that there are enough of them. Kong, so he decides put all the stat points. He then kept the system in denomination informs you that the number of monsters skeletons he can summon increased for 19. Then Kong says to fight with quantity he also needs monster amount, and so he says to begin the hunt, and with that the Kang soldiers begin to eliminate the then on the next floor Sung monsters comes and says he took all the stones from upstairs. Then Kong says that he did a great job and that was for continue like this. He is surprised by Kong has already killed all those monsters, so he thinks that in Joe movement of this rank generally if it takes about 2 hours to clean. Then he says that Kong did this in less than 15 minutes. Later Kong speaks that he needs to take a break, and he says that it's already at level 7 and now got several achievement points with, so I decided to take a look at the skills you can learn at level 7. However, when analyzing them he says that they are all Inuit. However, he realizes that he can summon a skeleton wizard when you reach level 10 like this. Decide to buy it in advance. Then Sung says that everything is over and that the stone of return appeared. Then Kangi asks how much time has passed, and Sung says it was 27 minutes. Kong so say that since he has this place for 4 hours, he says he will clean him from top to bottom. So after leaving the gel, Sung sell the stones from 102. His surprise, he gets 200,000 years, and Sung is quite surprised by the quantity because they won this amount in just 30 minutes. Even if he earns only 10% of that amount, is the same thing he won for 2 months cleaning the DJO from Tierra 1. Then Sung says Kong is really amazing, so Kong tells him not to overdo it, where they still had to clean this place 7 more times, and Sung thinks that It's a fortune and become a manager. Kong was his best decision in another place in Ham's guild. The group leader, named Micon, receives a call from a guy who had to report something with the gens where two people reserved the dance for 4 hours, but these guys are very serious. Micon says that people, they die all the time. However, the guy say it's not that, where in fact they clean Dajo safely, but their cleaning is normal because the first cleaning them lasted 30 minutes, but now they cleaned it in 11 minutes. So he asks if they should investigate them, where they say they are from Hamf, but at that he can see they are above it. So Micon is quite surprised. He tell the guy to leave his cell phone on and wait because he would call after. Research them after that. Micon ask what was happening and stop. To his surprise, he discovers that one of them registered the day before and the other had only registered 2 months ago, where you couldn't believe that these guys were cleaning up in the danger of Tier 3. In just 10 minutes, he thinks that the rank assessment went very far, where they are at least C rank. He knew that individuals who express C rank awakened skills since the beginning has a great chance of grow and become rank awakened. Out then he gets up a lot, excited, talking that an awakened promising appeared after so long. Elsewhere, a person asks if that was the guy who invaded the danju of them, and the other guy confirms, saying that's the information he got of the civilian employee of the Department of Admission, that the guy was at the scene. He asks who is this person next to him. The other says that his name is Sung and that he's 21 and he's just the flame mage of the common Hanf, and that this guy next to him named Kong looks be the main force of the group, and that it is a Hanyef necromancer. The guy so she asks what Orin is, what she thinks of him. She says that she thought he wasn't an F rank, normal, but not at that level. With that, she says he's almost a rank C guy. Say so, or he hid the rank of it on purpose during the assessment, or this guy is evolving at a incredible speed. She asks if already was there any case among those awakened from such a high speed of evolution, so where even though they are low rank awakening, that is, basically move up 2 or 3 ranks in one night. He says there was an affair similar last year where there was a alarm clock that evolved from rank F to rank A as the person whose place of growth was maintained completely under the covers until he became the rank from Korea. She starts to laugh, saying this boy can't be compared to Kong Shu. Then he says, who? You know where to look, it won't hurt anything. With this, he says he will track this guy down. Where will he himself see what kind of person is he? And the guy who is saying this is all Gu Warong Master, called Sanguine. Elsewhere within the DJ, Sug thinks no matter what money is important, he wonders if he will die if it continues like this, where he never heard talk about someone who died digging lots of bloodstones, but that's it. Too much. So Sug asks the gang if he can rest for a while, and after them rest, Sug says he already feels much better now. Kangi asks how much there is still time left, so Sung speaks that he has about 12 minutes. Kong so he says that with the money he got it by now, he should get it, buy a decent house for your mother and his sister live, and so he tells his Sung that from now on all bloodstones that they excavate will be him, and that he will help by marking them. With this, he can dig as much as if you want. Then he tells Sung to increase the rhythm. Soon after, Kong begins to eliminate the creatures quickly, and the system informs you that he has gone up to the level 10, and after it decimates the creatures, he believes this must be the enough. Then the system informs you that it reached the level required for a class and it's time to choose her. Kong says that's fine. Stranger has a class advancement when you reach level 10, and Alf Moss I already had a necromance class, so he wonders what this is. After the system to analyze everything is chosen warrior class as a privilege, and Kong was given a warrior weapon. Kong wonders if he has 2 classes, and now then he wonders why another must be a warrior, because it would have been more advantageous to get a class of Mago because her attributes are complemented with their class of necromance. So he says that if he knew this would happen, he didn't. I would have fought with the crowbar, but with magic. He wonders what this could be. Class reward, and when you see the warrior, she had one he had not. I could believe it would only be a pipe metal, but when he holds it, he discovers that this weapon is as much his friend as the life, where it also evolves along with the user, and it will always be with he waiting to be summoned, having some additional effects despite all the Kangi thinks she's a good weapon since she evolves along with it. So I was eager to see what kind of weapon she could turn around, and now the Necromancer privilege, which would be the Cell Demon Stone. He knew it is a magical stone that the Necromancer receives when it reaches a certain level, and there is a total of 7 celled stones that can even be bought from soldiers, skeletons, and they contain the invocations. Strongest Kong says that in Alphen he fought against your enemies using them in his territory, and he wonders what will you do this time? After he releases the silo for his surprise, it was BB, so she got angry, asks where the master had gone. Then she jumps on top of him, saying he missed you so much. Kangi asks if she hadn't been off the record. And what happened, she says after Mess disappeared, all invocations were trapped inside the seal room. Then he wonders if they moved behind the dimensions with it, and then BB says she is smelling something, and Kangi asks what it would be. She says she is smelling the puppies of Tronet on these insects, so Kong stays quite surprised because this monster is a demon that came from the dimension unknown and destroyed 90% of Alphen, where even though he didn't fight with, he fought against the number of their puppies that came to his territory until he tired of it. So Kong wonders if these creatures are invading the earth, and if that's why the dances are appearing. Then he thought he had escaped from hell, but it looks like he found another on the ground at the entrance of the jail. Kong arrives and asks where he is. Both of them. Then the guy says he already has. 8 minutes have passed since they entered, and with that they must be. As he leaves, he says that these guys, they're no joke because they've already won one huge amount of money on account. He himself says that if he were strong, so Raid would do a dance too. Then, soon after, Kong Sung leaves. Then Kong goes to them and thanks them for help the angel clean. Then he asks if it can take a little time of them, but Kong says he doesn't have time and leaves. Then Kong asks for him to wait a moment. Kong, angry, asks what happened. Then he says he's going to end up interrupting them anyway because he asked if he could Michelle. So if ask what this guy's problem is, he says it seems like he said a lot unnecessary things and so on, to the point he says he would like to recruit them to Ham's guild. Then Kong quickly deny it and he leaves. Again Kong so say what it looks like that Kong doesn't know Ham's goo very much. Well, then Kong questions if he is a of the 3 best guilds in Korea. Kong says they treat people the same way, guild him very well, and if he joins them he guarantees that he will provide the best possible support. Kong so angry speaks that he is not feeling well, so he asks if he can leave him alone. Now the next day Kang's mother asks, what is this? Then the broker tells she takes as long as she wants to get to know the house, so she asks Kangi how are they going to live in this home because they had no money. Gang then he says that she had received his money today and she gets plenty surprised and asks how he got all this money. Gang responds that he isn't awakened, so she asks if he won all this money with dance. Then she asks if this is not very dangerous, and then she asks since when does he do this? Then she tells Kay that her father died because of a dance and with she can't let him in a dance again. Kong says that was it okay, telling her that he is not that weak because it seemed like he was crushing Ant when it's in a danjo. She tries to question, but Kong he says everything was fine. Where would he go? Make up for all the hard work she did with this. She just needed to believe in it from now on. At nightfall, Kong summons BB. Then she asks what happened, and he tells her to leave soon, but she quickly goes back of a wall, so he wonders what that's it. And then to your surprise she ends up transforming into a cat. She says she can't show up in her original body and that she has no choice but to use the body of a small animal, so he wonders if it can only appear in the form original inside the dungeons. Then he asks if she was still feeling the energy of Tronet. Then she says she doesn't feel it at all. Nothing. Then she says that this place has a very good smell of peace. Kong so think that he is a demon. How does she likes the smell of peace? So he asks if the Tronet power does not reach reality after it. Guy asks if Kong takes care of his cats street. Then he says that Kong has a side kindly. After that the guy says he's a nice to meet you, so he presents himself as leader of the Warong Guild and his name is Sango. So he asks if they can talk a little, if it's okay for Kong in another place. Sung thinks he can't understand Kong where he had asked because he refused Gid's offer, and Kong had responded that he did not want because he hates taking orders from others people. Kong says that even the powerful world that Hams is nothing compared to him, and he thinks that this guy turned down the guild Hami's offer for some reason like that, but that doesn't It matters now because soon he will get the cute girl of your dreams. And with that, he just needs to trust and follow her. From now on, then the seller by car arrives and asks if he is going. Sign the contract right now then. Very excited, Sung confirms in another. Sanger Place says that first, I would like to apologize for happened the day before where he heard that there was a conflict between him. Urine, so it's at that moment that Kangi if remember it was that woman with the hair red, so Sanger says she is yours younger sister, but she has a complicated temperament where she matters a lot with the guild, and if she was a little hard on him during the day previous, he would like to reward you. That's why Kong says he doesn't need it. Then he asks what the real reason for him to meet with him. Sungru says that the truth is that they were watching their movements in recent days where I was rating the D novel speed is incredible, one that cannot be maintained by HEV, and based on what he can see from the recent ride it is at least HC, so he says he's sure Kong will leave. Make a high rank awaken soon. So Kong, so you think that after Guild Ram is now Warang's guild. Then Kong asks if he wants recruit him, and Sugo says that's right and asks him to join his guild. Warang then he promises that Kong, you will receive the best treatment suited to his capabilities, and ask him if he can defeat him, then he will give the position of leader. And SNGR begins by saying that he is as confident as the rumors say, but he wasn't leading the guild Warang based only on your awakened abilities, since he is a B rank, and that's why even if he beat him he couldn't pass on his position. Then Kangi says that anyway he wasn't interested, and so he was going. Although SNGR asks why he thinks that these dances have already appeared where they already did 5 years since the shock of the dungeons happened, and in these 5 years it didn't happen. Found nothing conclusive about the number of Joes increased as the days passed and the monsters more strong humanity began to appear, obsessed with using bloodstones to do business instead of maintaining vigilance against the Daejo. So he said one thing's for sure, if that continue, not just Korea but the world whole can be annihilated. He says that he is gathering awaken to prevent this happens because he believes that be his destiny, and with that he asks for Kanga to help them with this in the guild. One of the guys thinks the weather. I was already depressed at the beginning of the day, and then he speaks to the team leader that they made a reservation for the number of exit from Gunu Station no the day before, and Mishu asks why they were talking about that grow so soon. Early on the guy says that dance for Star, and quickly he asks if they only go with 2 people again. So the guy confirms, and Mike Han says that these guys are crazy where the F rank can't join attack squad for dance from 4 stars onwards, and they may enter as med heirs of blood or support stones, but if they don't know something basic like that, made a reckless reservation. So really they are just newbies, but he asks what kind of skills they have. You have to take risks in dancing on all 4 stars, so he wonders if he has 4-star Danjo in that region. Also then the guy confirms, and Mike Han says it's very close to theirs. With that he says to free up that one's agenda. Joe then the guy asks if they don't. I had given up on hers, and Mike Han says that this time they will however go where want to catch a big fish, they will need a big bait. Guys, thank you to everyone who has watched so far. I ask you to leave a like and subscribe to channel besides leaving a comment talking about whether we should continue with our adventure. This helps us a lot continue producing our content. Thank you to all of you who stayed until here, and until here, and until the next adventure. Guys, I changed the voice so you can see if you like it or not. And subscribe, leave your bell for the next video. Thank you very much everyone. See you in the next video.